Hello, everyone. Welcome to Development Palettes. I'm Aaron Loomis coming to you from the Drew Estate Studio. With me today from the Pastana Studio, John McTavish. How you doing?
Good, man. You know, the exciting thing about being a reviewer for me is when you come across a brand and you're like, I've never heard of this brand before.
Yep.
Because there's kind of this element of like, I have no expectations. I don't know who the owner is. I haven't met them before. I don't know their cigars. I don't know their blends. I don't know where they're made. I'm just going to smoke the cigar.
Yep.
And that's, we've been doing this for a little while now. And so it's pretty rare that happens.
Yep. And this is one of them. So
And that's one of them.
speaking of, we are talking about the Vicente Blends Gold Standard V. The cigar is a Robusto Extra 5.5 inch by 54. Comes out of the Vicente Blends factory in the Dominican Republic. Wrapper is Dominican Criollo. Binder and filler both from the Dominican Republic. Um, Blended by Vincent. I'm hoping his last name right. McGlone. I just don't want to butcher it, but um, price point is
Does it have an,
$42.
does it have an E on the end?
Does have an E at the end, yeah.
I wonder if it's Italian Negroni.
Could be. Yeah.
Could be.
I think they're gonna be at the
Yeah.
trade show, so we can ask.
Yeah, we'll ask.
But price point is $42, and the cigar was released in December of 2022. So with all that out of the way, John, what was your overall experience like with the cigar?
You know, I like this cigar. First third had a lot going on. Sweet tobacco, bread, hay, mild spices, wood. Wood kind of defined the post draw just by itself, but as it continued, there's a little bit of a mild dryness in the palate, nothing overwhelming. And then the bread kind of became this really nice pastry note as it continued. Restrained spices at light plus. Just a really nice first third, and then second third started out with creamy bread, medium strength spices, and the spices kind of lingered on the palate. And then those spices kind of pulled back to light plus, so they're really balanced. And then a little bit of earth to push the spices around. So first and second third for me were, I mean, just a really nice smoke. Last third I think was pleasant, but it had a lot going on, and the flavors kind of moved around in strength. So sweet wood at medium minus, and then dry wood on the post draw. Bread came back to the retrohale, but then there's some mild tannic wood, which kind of took that away, and then some bitterness was present in the finish, and then dry tannic wood was defining the post draw, and then the bottom half it was kind of fighting between bread and wood and tannic and dryness and bitterness, and I was like, okay, this is an unfortunate finish to what otherwise was a really nice cigar. Burn was almost perfect, kind of waviness throughout, and then I let it go as far as I could in my OCD or whatever. It just kind of took over. I'm like, okay, I can't do this anymore. So I had to do a touch up. But that was really the only issue for intervention. Draw was perfect. Yeah, nice cigar. Good entrance to the brand. I mean, we'll talk more after the scoring, but what was your experience like?
Yeah, for me, this cigar started with toasted cedar that carried a bitter bite to it, along with some light earth. The bitter bite departed pretty quickly, and some mild creaminess joined in. Got some leather that joined in a bit later. Second third saw the cedar gain a light bitterness, and some black pepper joined in. Then the final third saw the black pepper increase a bit. Cigar had an average flavor profile throughout, with the toasted cedar and earth being the drivers for it. It was a nice chance to try a new brand, but this didn't really grab my attention. It's got a huge cost. I didn't have the best construction. Cigar was wavy throughout, went out on me twice. When I knocked off the ash each time, it was like the cigar was tunneling. So I might have had a construction issue with mine, but it seems like you had a pretty good experience. So um, I might come back to it or try some of the other stuff that they offer. But price point makes it really difficult to like really do that. So
Yeah.
yeah. All right, getting into the scores. John gave it a 6.72. I gave it a 5.45. So John, how that 6.72 match up for you?
Yeah, it matched up well. This it's a nice cigar. I really enjoyed it thoroughly. Other than that last third, yeah, it was nice.
Yeah, my 5.45 matches up well. Average flavor profile throughout, and then kind of the construction issues I mentioned kind of knocked it down a bit. So that kind of puts it right around the mid fives. So um, based on this, I wouldn't come back to it, but with John, amount that John liked it, obviously, maybe I missed something with the construction issues. All right, final thoughts.
Man, so look, flavor profile, like really enjoyed this. The problem is I'm a tightwad, and so when I see a $42 price point, I'm like, God damn, like, that's really hard for me. Like, I think I was thinking like, what is the cutoff? And I feel like, you know, I could go 20 to $24 and I'd probably smoke this again. But I feel like to go over that, that last third's gonna have to deliver, and
Mhm.
or that first third's gonna have to be up to very good, I think, for me to kind of reach for that. The other thought is, so we've seen the sort of metal band in the industry before. There's been other brands that have done like cogwheels, different brands that you can wear as rings, that kind of thing.
Right.
It's an interesting concept.
I'll put a
It's
picture
not
up just so
unique,
people
but
can see it. But yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, this is not a paper band. This is a metal band that's got some heft
yeah,
to it.
it's got some heft. Like if you put this on your finger and punch somebody, they'd feel it. Um, I definitely understand why you'd go for that on something that's sort of this premium, but I this sounds so ticky tacky when I say it, but I'm just gonna say it. So as I'm smoking, it was a huge distraction. Like I found when I got into the second third, the band's kind of moving around, and eventually I'm like, you know what, I got to take this off because like I'm gonna damage the wrapper, or it's gonna go flying and like crack my ashtray. So I personally would say just opt for regular bands and maybe make the band super fancy. But like, I just don't think the sort of metal band is the way to go for me personally.
Yeah, just I mean, and like you said, we're probably not the target audience for this cigar.
Yeah,
So,
100%.
but we're going to talk about it as like regular smokers. Like setting this down on the ashtray is you just have to kind of balance it on that ring, right? So, that's one thing to look out for. The other thing is that you have to be super precise with the rolling of these cigars. Like you can't fluctuate much on the ring gauge because if you
Yeah,
are, there's no adjustment on this band. This is a ring. It's like it's not like what Aventura does with their kind of metal bands that
metal
are like
bands.
kind of
Yeah,
you can tighten them or loosen them. Like these are
yeah.
solid rings. There's no adjustment. You might be able to line the
Squish it
inside with
with,
something if it was
yeah,
too thin, but like you need to be very precise with your thing. So they're probably some of the cost of the cigar is probably the cost of this ring that goes around it, but for a regular smoker, I don't think that they would care about that as much. If they are buying into this brand and they're smoking this regularly, one of those rings in the box would suffice, right? If you wanted
yeah.
to
It's actually
to
that's a
kind of
good
show
point. Just
off.
put one in the
So
box. Yeah.
yeah, so that's what I say. But yeah, you got obviously see like different ends of the spectrum in regards to experience. So that's interesting. They have some other offerings. Palladium, and I think they're launching three new lines kind of right here coming up around the trade show as well. So, and I think they're going to be at the trade show. So it'd be interesting to kind of meet these guys and get some more information on the background because this is like I said, this is our first introduction to it, and you're coming at it at the price point of $42. It's kind of like step back kind of to see that, but. All right, wherever you catch this video, be sure to like and subscribe, but check out the full written review on the website, developingpalace.com. Follow us on all the social media channels, and you can catch all of our review recaps on podcasts. So iTunes, Google Play, and Podbean. Thank you for tuning in. We will catch you on the next one.
Vicente, whoa, 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 whoa.